quarantine cooking with Victoria. Today's a cold day, so I decided to make a nice hearty soup, a nice warm hearty soup, and it's of my pea and spinach soup. Really, all you're going to need are about 4 or 5 ingredients. Basically, these are the only 2 that are the main ones. I use frozen peas. Yes, I know it might be cheating, but I use frozen peas. And you can get them straight from the freezer and put them into the pan, or you can defrost them for about an hour, just keep them out. You're gonna use about, I don't know, 3/4 of a bag. What's that? I don't really know because I don't follow recipes, but we're gonna use the frozen peas. What we're going to do first is we're going to chop the onions finely, and then we're going to chop the garlic, and then we're going to saute that. And once we've sauteed that, we're going to put in the real stock. This is real stock that I made from bones. It's kind of jellified, but on the top, we take that layer off, and that's the fat we're going to cook it in. So that basically that's stock, onions and garlic, and then you put in your frozen peas for maybe about 20 minutes. I'll show you as we go through the recipe. And then the finishing touch is the spinach. I get my bag of spinach at Trader Joe's because they've got the most in it. You put about 4 or 5 handfuls of the spinach on top, and then as it wilts, the moment it starts wilting is when you're done with the recipe. Then you either use your immersion blender, or a blender itself. And that's my soup of the day. This is how you skim off the fat. Go like this, take off the top layer, must have been in the fridge first, and then we put it in a dish, and then we cook with that fat. I've chopped up the onions, as you can see, and I'm now going to saute them in the fat that we already have that is on the stove. Onions are going to go in until they're translucent. I'm now going to chop the garlic up. Do you know the trick about putting garlic in the microwave for 10 seconds? 10 seconds. You watch, they will just slip right out of the skin. So I'm going to chop the garlic, they're going to go in. Now the garlic goes in. All right, so the garlic and the onions are going to simmer. And then we're going to add the rich stock. Now my onions and garlic have been cooking. You can see they're translucent. That's how you want to get them before you put in the stock. Here is my stock. I've skimmed off the fat because I obviously cooked with the fat. And now this is going to go in. It's so good that it's jellified. And when it jellifies, oh, I'm making such a mess. When it's jellified, it's because of all the goodness that comes out of those bones that I have been boiling for hours upon hours and for a couple of days. Oh, and by the way, if you use 2 cloves of garlic normally, we're doing quarantine cooking. We can use 10 cloves of garlic because now people really want to stay away from you. The dog goes wild. I have to show you the dog. He couldn't be cuter. Look, when my voice raises, the dog goes crazy and he will go nuts, and we love him. Don't we love him? So anyway, as I was saying, we put the stock in. The stock has now reduced in volume, and now you're ready to put in your peas. The peas are semi-defrosted, but it really doesn't matter if you go in from frozen. Gordon Ramsay is not watching right now, like he did when I was on MasterChef. So put the frozen peas in. I would say a bag, the whole bag that size. You could use a smaller bag, but 10 more minutes on the stove, they're going to cook, and then we're going to put the spinach in. If you want to have a little bit of meat in your pea and spinach soup, I'll tell you something, you can add some bacon. Of course, everything goes great with bacon, so just fry that up a bit as well. But it's not in my recipe. So my pea and spinach soup doesn't have it, but you can always add it. You can always improvise on everything, as you do. Now the peas are ready and they've been cooked. And I'm coming over to put the spinach in there. Now the spinach just goes on the top like this, and it really doesn't even need to be cooked. You just want to kind of just immerse it, just so it wilts in the warmth of the dish you have just created and in the liquid in the soup. See, this is just perfect. Then you keep all the goodness in that way. If you want more spinach, you add more spinach. Simple as that. And then of course the rest of the day you're in the bathroom. Just kidding. If you haven't had spinach for a while, you might be. But who cares? We're quarantined right now. So spending the day in another great room of the house, my second favorite room, the bathroom, it's no big deal. Anyway, this is what you do. You actually don't really need to put it, see, it's already wilted. You don't need to put it back on the stove, but if you do, make sure it's on a very low heat. And there you have it. I'm actually going to just turn it off now. Maybe 60 seconds and that's it. This is going to be a very thick soup, which is good because you want that thickness. If you want it to be more thin, then add a bit from a carton of stock. And I'm actually going to use my immersion blender today. I put this like this, and of course it splatters everywhere. So that you don't end up with green all over your face and your clothing and your trousers, I suggest getting an apron. How about that? Here we go with the immersion blender. Now, let's try it. I'm going to get a dish. The dog is right here, as always, ready to, do we see him? Okay, everybody, on a nice, cold Saturday afternoon, let me try my soup. Daddy, hold on, I'm filming. Oh, to die for. I'm not kidding. I mean, this is just unbelievable. You want to make this yourself, or you want to come on over. Oh no, you can't, because it's quarantine cooking with Victoria. We're all quarantined. You'll have to vicariously live through my pea and spinach soup recipe. Thank you for joining me today on Quarantine Cooking with Victoria. And next week, I will be coming to you with a risotto and also stuffed red bell peppers. Excuse me for spitting, but stuffed red bell peppers next week. Thank you for watching. Subscribe right here. If you click on that button, it's totally free. And then you'll see my recipes as they come up. My mouth's watering. Bye for now, everyone.